It is huge.
It is the Humpy Alley, if you will.
It is. I walked in there the other day, and it's just like blown away with all the pink. It's awesome.
It's everywhere, and if you can't find what you're looking for, you go to the fish counter, talk to Jordan or any of the guys down there. They're going to steer you in the right direction. It is Humpy season, as we've discussed previously, and lots of opportunity. And one thing I like about Humpy season or pink season, Terry, is there's two times when people ask me, when's the best time to go, get somebody their first salmon? Well, you got a couple options. Obviously, odd years or Humpy years,
Yep.
and that's a great opportunity. And or, some of our chum fisheries that have rebounded as of late.
Good point.
Is another good opportunity for people to go catch a lot of salmon and have fun. Now, if you have to pick the lesser two evils and want to get some fantastic weather, it's a no-brainer, man. Summertime, Humpy's on the Puget Sound and lower rivers, that's where you want to go.
Yeah.
So
kids too.
And kids, kids and ladies, you get them out there, get them exposed to salmon fishing. And one thing that's going to kill a kid's interest in fishing is if you spend all day and don't catch anything.
Right. And then with pinks, they're going to catch them.
Oh, they are going to catch them. And the nice thing is, as you and I were talking, rolling into this morning, is, the nice thing about there being over 7 million pinks coming back to Puget Sound, if you hook up and lose one, don't worry. Because, chances are in a couple minutes you're going to hook up again.
You'll get another one.
So a lot of questions relative to how do I be successful, or how can I be successful in catching some pink salmon? Well, so if you don't have a boat and you don't want to fish the river, there's a lot of beaches out there that you can access and toss into the salt water and be successful. If you have a small boat, you can fish inner waters closer to shore, in that water that's 20, 40, 60, 70 feet deep, and there's some really sound methods that you can be successful, Terry. And so one of the best ways in a small boat is just simply vertical jigging. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And from a boat, it doesn't have to be out specifically in the Sound. It can be into the tidal water, into like the Duwamish and that, which is fantastic.
Right. And so, they've gone as far as to even manufacturers are putting together small kits of different types of hoochie skirted jig heads. And you can get buzz bombs in multiple packs now. It's your buzz bomb Humpy kit, pink kit as they call it. Go down there to Sportco. You're going to see all this stuff. I just went in and grabbed a handful of random things that I know will definitely work. Some of these 3/8 ounce jig heads with hoochie skirts. Your buzz bombs are a no-brainer. If you want to dress those up a little bit, buy yourself some pink hoochies and put those on the hook, and you're going to have a dual action buzz bomb as it flutters and drops. You're going to have that hoochie skirt actually imparting more action on it, and it's very, very productive when there's a lot of humpies around. Some of these P-line vertical iron, these small jigs that are a little more weighted, plus you can get them in glow and different. Of course, everything you see here is pink. It's kind of a no-brainer. If I'm vertical jigging, I'm going to use those little guys. If you don't have enough flutter in them, they're nice because you can put a nice little bend in those things, and that actually gets them to flutter down more. And be ready for those fish to pick these things up on the drop, much like when we're jigging or twitch jigging for coho and whatnot.
And also, you want to remember that you're fishing primarily in the salt or in the in the lower tidal water. So you want that 3/8 ounce on the jigs, the buzz bomb, 2 inch, 2.5 inch, because the salt water is a little denser, so it takes a little bit longer to drop down. So you want them to be able to drop down, because that is when the pinks are going to hit it, is on the drop.
They hit it on that drop. When you come up to jig, you'll feel that little pressure on the rod and set the hook. And do not be afraid to use our Marabou pink jigs also out there. Those work fantastic in the salt or the tidal water, as you mentioned, and, of course, the lower rivers. One that I go to for both coho and it'll definitely work for pinks. Don't be afraid to cast spinners as well, especially if you're on the beach, chucking it out there. Good size spinner, a Vibrex. We'll get it done. Pink body, silver blade. Switch that hook out to a single barbless. You're going to be just fine. You can cast for them all day long. You can cast the buzz bombs off the beach too, and work those back in on the flutter. And so, what kind of rod would I want to use for that, either in the boat or on the beach, Terry? What's wrong with a 9-foot, 8 to 12 steelhead rod?
Nothing wrong with that, but for me, it's a little heavy. I like these little bit lighter rods, but yeah, for off the beach and that, good idea. But when you get a little bit closer, into the tidal waters and that, I'll actually step down to like a 6 to 10.
For me, when I'm out trolling around, I'm using my kokanee rods.
There you go.
Because I'm not casting, and you want to talk about light and putting up the fight. Yeah, we'll go with the kokanee rods. But for guys that are not, a ton of rods sitting in their cabin, if they got that 8 to 12, 9-foot steelhead rod sitting there for drift fishing or what have you, spinning rod, it's going to work really well.
Nothing wrong with that, and don't go out and buy a special rod just for pinks. You're gonna catch them no matter what rod you have. It's just those lighter rods are going to be a lot more fun.
Yep, use what you got. So now let's talk about getting in that small boat and going on the troll. Some guys are well equipped. You got the downriggers, you're ready to go. How about for guys that don't have the downriggers? You need a little bit beefier rod to get it done, but there is nothing wrong with using a deep six diver to get your gear out there, present it so that you control, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely, and that'll bring it down deeper than say just a regular mooching lead in that, because you are going to be trolling with a flasher or a dodger on the back there, which it creates a little bit more drag. So you want something to dive down. So those deep six divers, something of that similar, even the dipsy divers that'll go off to the side, something that'll get it down to where those fish are, and sometimes they're going to be down 60 feet, and so you want to get it a little bit down there without having to put out 200 feet of line to get down your 60 feet.
Use your electronics in the morning, see where you're marking fish. You may start early at daylight, finding them at 20 to 30 feet, and then as the sun comes up, incrementally about 10 to 15 feet each hour, dropping down to stay within where those fish are traveling. Put that deep six on there, go about 30 inches or 36 inches to your flasher or dodger, and then you're going to run about a 16 to 20 inch leader off of your flasher for a hoochie rig, because it doesn't really impart any of its own action, obviously. And we're going to tie these hoochies up. This is that standard F15 Gold Star, nice little 2-inch pink hoochie. I like to put in the pink skirt inside of it just to add a little more flash to it. I stack in a couple glow beads in there. Sometimes I'll even tie in some little tuft of yarn into that top hook that I can put some different herring oil scents and some oil scents instead of just getting it on the plastics of my hoochie. That scent stays in that yarn so good. It's hidden up in the skirt. It doesn't really do anything other than hold scent. Those are all good methods to use. Again, make sure that we're tying on at least a size 2/0 hook. And you got your options. Terry, you could go full-on barbless wide gap. I like these, even though it says Big River bait hook, I like tying up those things when I got to fish a barbless fishery, simply because of the way that hook angle gets in there. It's hard to lose a fish once that penetrates into the jaw. A lot of folks like to stick with pink everything, and you can get those too. Octopus style, pink coated 2/0 hook to tie up your rigs. Tying up a double hook rig, slide your hoochie on, slide your flash inside, glow beads, little scent on there, 20 inches behind your flasher or dodger. Again, with the dodgers, we're looking at a good 11-inch dodger. Now, I challenge you to walk into Sportco, unless they've restocked, because everybody saw it was coming. Try to find that 11-inch pure white dodger. Going to be difficult to do. So some other options out there. Obviously, we got white with flash. You can get the pink and white combination with a little bit of UV on there. Don't be afraid to use the glow. That's going to get it done as well. And, of course, we can always fall back to our standard herring dodger if that's what you have to use. That'll also get it done. We can also troll our Kingfisher spoons behind those dodgers, Terry. And if I'm going to do that, I like the 3.5 size, especially for humpies. Make sure it has some type of pink and UV in there. Gold Star has a number of these Kingfisher spoons with all different colors. I walked into Sportco. I just had to minimize it down to about 3. That we're definitely going to get it done. Stick with the 3.5. Make sure it has pink.
They actually came down with a new 2.5-inch Kingfisher.
They did, actually. Thanks for the reminder.
And that's what I'm going to use.
Yep.
And it's got to be pink. And you'll notice that Gold Star is very smart. They actually put a sickle hook on there.
I see that.
And
yeah.
that sickle hook, just like your Big River hook, pinch the barb on that, or come out with barbless, and they're not going to come off anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So there's some options, of course, compared to the hoochie and the skirted hoochie. When we're running that about 20 inches behind our flasher, I'll extend these spoons out 30 to 36 inches. They impart their own action. They don't need to be right tight to that flasher or dodger, because they're going to be back there doing their thing. That is pretty much what you need to know.
Slow it down.
Slow it down.
Yeah,
slow troll.
Troll, slow.
Slow troll.
Yep.
What's your speed out there?
Oh, man, a mile per hour.
Yep.
That's
keep
it.
it in the 1.
Yep.
If you're up at 1.5, you're almost too fast.
Yeah, you
so
can even, if you got a little current with you or a little wind, just drift.
Yep.
I mean, that's all you need. It's a very slow. They love it slow.
In case I didn't catch it, if you're going to use a deep six or some type of diver, put about 30 inches between that and your flasher. Make sure that your flasher gets its own action going. That is going to do it. It was quick. It was down and dirty, but it's a number of things you can think about. Go back and watch this. I'll post this presentation up on our Facebook page later today or tomorrow. 60 Seconds to Success, brought to you by Sportco and Outdoor Emporium. Go down to Sportco, walk to the fishing counter. If you can't see the aisle of pink, you better get some glasses.
You'll
Humpy season
see
is
it.
upon us, man. Let's take advantage of it.
Absolutely, it's a fun one. Get the kids out, get your neighbors out, get the people that don't normally fish out. You're gonna hook them.
You got it. All right, that's going to do it. So when we come back, jump out for our break. We come back. We're a little behind schedule, but Cody, Cozy's Corner is on at 7 o'clock, second hour. We come back right here at Sports Radio 950 KJR in Northwest Wild Country.